Hey everybody, it's Justice for Comics. I was looking on CBR's website and I saw this article, and I discussed a little bit in my video today on New Comic Book Day. Antarctic Press was deposed in the Mark Waid lawsuit. So just to give you a quick background, Antarctic Press is a very small independent publisher based out of Texas. They've been around many years, I think more than 10 years. But a lot of their books, their Punchline is one that's kind of popular lately, Rags. So a lot of people maybe know those books, but they've been publishing for a while. And the guy that runs it is a guy named Mike Dunn. So what's happening here is, or the background of the story is, Richard Meyer, who is famous from his YouTube account, Diversity in Comics. He's probably got the largest amount of subscribers of any YouTuber dealing with comic books. So obviously, he's powerful in the comic book industry, and when he is critical and gives an opinion, obviously it rattles the cages of people that are in the comic book industry, like Mark Waid. So Richard Meyer went to publish a book called Jawbreakers, and he was going to be published on our Antarctic Press. And the accusation by Richard C. Meyer is that Mark Waid called up the publisher of Antarctic Press, Mr. Dunn, and basically bullied him into breaking the contract with Richard Meyer, or dropping his title, which of course the publisher has the right to do if he has a good reason to do it. I don't know that there is a good reason here. I guess that's going to be a point established in court. I see this going all the way. First of all, Richard C. Meyer has more than enough funding. He's been raising money through Patreon and the GoFundMe online. He's got plenty of money coming in from that. He's got a lot of people in the independent industry like Comic Pro, Ethan Van Sciver supporting him. I think they're going to go all the way, because I think what this will do is they probably want to make an example out of Mark Waid. That you can't, just because you have power in the comic book industry doesn't mean you get to abuse that power. So, yeah, so this is what's going to happen. They're going to go to court. What's interesting is that there is a transcript of the deposition of Mr. Dunn. Asked questions here. Were there factors that led to Antarctic Press's decision that had no relationship to Mark Waid? Correct? He said yes. And those factors were concerned that your staff and freelancers had expressed, correct? He said correct. And including Mr. Meyer's own conduct, correct? Correct. And those factors that led to AP's decision are factors unrelated to Mark Waid, correct? He said correct. Did you make the decision for Antarctic Press, correct? Correct. This is how lawyers speak, of course. And that was your decision, correct? 100%. And you made that decision voluntarily? Correct. And Mark Waid, did he do anything to prevent AP from publishing Mr. Meyer's book? No. So right there, under oath, in a deposition, the head of Antarctic Press basically said Mark Waid had nothing to do with the decision to drop Richard C. Meyer from Antarctic Press. Even though there are emails, there is a conversation between Joe Dunn and Richard C. Meyer, where Richard C. Meyer even says that Joe Dunn was crying on the phone to him. So I don't know how he's gonna refute those claims. it's going to be interesting to see what happens from this. But, you know, the point of all this is, and it looks like it really didn't hurt Richard C. Meyer, because he went on to publish his book independently through an IndieGoGo platform, and he raised $400 and some thousand. You know, that's, in any way you want to measure it, that's extremely successful. I'm not surprised. His subscriber base is in the tens of thousands. So there's plenty of people that would support him, and obviously a lot of people that bought his book. So ultimately, you know, the one thing that could help Mark Waid is, you know, I think he's still going to lose. I think there's enough evidence to, you know, based on posts by Mark Waid, social media posts, you know, they're going to pull all that stuff up. So anytime you tweet something, anytime you use social media, Twitter, anything you ever write can be used against you. An email, whatever it is, unless you're Hillary Clinton, of course, you can have all those emails somehow deleted and never found again, along with probably some people that were killed along the way. So yeah, some people do get away with it, apparently, like Hillary Clinton. But I think Mark Waid is dead to rights on a lot of stuff. What's interesting is this Joe Dunn. Basically is in complete denial that he was bullied by Mark Waid. You know, they didn't ask him a direct question. Were you crying on the phone to Richard C. Meyer that you had to pull out of the contract? That would have been a nice question to have asked. And I'm sure he would have completely denied it. So this is just kind of more evidence that James Dunn, I don't think, is honest. I think he is a piece of crap. I think his publishing company, I hope it fails. I mean, I think it will. It's a small-time publisher anyways. No one's buying their, you know, not that many people are buying their comic books. So, I don't know. Maybe he felt like if he threw his hat into the ring with Mark Waid, that somehow that would help him out long-term. You know, who knows what was going through his mind there on the reasons for his decision. What it looks like is he's completely denying that Mark Waid had anything to do with it. Yeah, so as of right now, it says Meyer's legal team has not yet responded to Zaid's latest motion. So this is just getting started. I mean, this is going to be very interesting, I think, over the next few weeks. Nothing like a good old brawl, a legal battle. You know, comic books are supposed to be, you know, an escape, not just for children, obviously, but for adults that really don't want their political ideals pushed on them by whether you're right or left. I don't want either side pushing any of their political viewpoints in their comic books. Comic books should just be about a great story. It should be about a hero and a villain and overcoming great odds. That's kind of the whole point of a comic book. Pushing your political agendas in comic book form, I think, is really just atrocious. So that's my thoughts on that. Yeah, I mean, this just came out here, I think, today, that article or that reveal on the deposition. So yeah, I mean, we'll see how this goes. You know, I've watched enough of Richard C. Meyer's videos. I think he's an average guy. I don't think he's a white supremacist. I don't think he's a racist. He doesn't say anything. In my opinion, that's extremely offensive. I think he's just a normal guy like anybody else, and in his comments, I don't think. I've watched enough of his videos. I don't really hear anything in his comments. He's critical. Yeah, I think if he doesn't like a comic book or thinks something is done poorly, he's going to point it out. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't agree with everything. Sometimes he points out things that I think are minor and really don't matter that much. But yeah, he has every right to voice his opinion. Oh, also, real quick, here's the next article. I was just talking about Tom King as well today. Hero in Crisis writer Tom King has received death threats over issue number 8. I haven't read issue number 8 yet. I think I'm on issue number 5. And yeah, I don't know what happens in this issue. Obviously, he must have written something in there that is irking a lot of people. But Tom King, yeah, I could tell you a lot of people in the comic book industry don't care for his writing. I thought Mr. Miracle started out okay. It got weird at the end. I liked the first couple issues of Mr. Miracle, and I thought the last couple issues were complete crap. I liked his Vision series. I thought that was really, really good. And his Batman has not been good. So, yeah, I don't know. It just goes back and forth with Tom King. I think sometimes he writes well, and a lot of times he doesn't. So, I don't think anybody should ever get death threats. I think that's absolutely atrocious. Just because you don't like a writer or like his viewpoints, giving somebody a death threat is outrageous. And if they catch these people, they need to be prosecuted. You know, there is no excuse for doing anything like that. So hopefully they pursue this, because I think anybody who's doing that needs to pay the consequences of that. All right, guys, that's all I had. Just a quick video just to highlight some things that are going on in the comic book news that are interesting. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, hit the bell for notifications, and let me know what you think. Post your comments below, and let me know what you think of this issue. And yeah, I'd like to hear what your comments are. All right, thanks, guys.